Hello everybody, it's Jeff Eichen here with Lifers Madness, the movie, the updated version, the director's cut, and the one and only movie about prisoners in jail for a plant from the inside. Since 2015, I met Jeff Mazansky. He's home. He was in jail for 21.9 for 2 grams.
There's something happening here.
And what I'm hoping is that it actually brings awareness to people of the harm it's doing, not only the guys that are locked up, but to their families. And how about the money they're spending keeping these guys locked up for something that the Lord put here for us to use? It just don't make sense to me. So, if spending this time in prison means getting that done, then it'll all be worth it.
What's wrong with this picture? Cocaine is a Schedule II drug. Marijuana is Schedule I with heroin. Paper, fiber, fuel, medicine, and food. So please, let's get our prisoners, bring them home. And let's not forget, this is officially the war on people. And here we go. Okay, that's it.
Lady marijuana, make our peace grow. So old and yet so beautiful down in our soul. Your fire burns inside me, keep her from the cold. So warm and yet so beautiful down in my soul. The fire burns, my lady marijuana. Watch her burn down, down in my soul. Lady marijuana, make our peace grow.
Lifers, scene 1 plus 1, take 1.
So old and yet so beautiful down in our soul. So old and yet so beautiful down in our soul.
We're here with Jeff Mazansky, all the way in Jefferson City Correctional Center. And we're going to be talking today about the beginning of our movie, and we're going to find out a little bit about Jeff's life.
Well, actually, I think the first time was a little less than an ounce. The second time, I actually had about 6 ounces, but I had to take a sales charge that my nephew made as well for an ounce.
Right.
Okay, and the third time, I had 2.5 grams in my pockets. I got caught for acting in concert. It was 3 minor. It was all marijuana. Is what I was actually found guilty of.
You know, it's really interesting being on the outside looking in, because we don't know how you feel. We don't know. We do know the injustice, but we're not you, so we don't feel it. But our compassion, especially as hamsters, you know, is a little bit of rage.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Did you pray for it?
I prayed for it, but being in here, I was really not privy to a lot of that.
Because you didn't get news?
We get news on the TV, and I hear things here and there and a little bit out of newspapers, but as far as the effect of what really must be out there from, and I probably still don't know it all, you know, I just am now really catching up on a lot of things,
Sure.
like the medical marijuana, how it's helping. I see where it's helping the kids that are having the epileptic.
Charlotte's Web.
Right.
You heard about that story.
Yeah, and that's great. But how about all these kids that suffered through all these years because of the lies that we were told?
It's Reefer Madness.
There you go. That was one of the first ones.
That was greed for paper.
Look here, from what I read, we got, if I'm not mistaken, I might be quoting it wrong, but isn't it about 4 acres of hemp can save 7 acres of trees?
Right.
Okay.
Because of all the products it is good for.
Exactly.
Paper, fiber, fuel, medicine, and food.
They buried their pharaohs with it.
They have seeds in the pharaohs. I heard
Exactly.
that. Just recently I heard that. Yeah, that was
That's
really
right.
cool.
And that's right. Our first president we had, George Washington, had a hemp field.
The dollar bill.
Declaration is printed on hemp. In fact, is when we were fighting for our independence, what were we fighting for? And the right to have freedom.
Right.
Do we really have it now? I don't think so. We have some freedoms. We're losing a lot of them. But for something that's not hurting people, they're taking away and locking you up.
Right.
What kind of freedom is that? Because, and I'll tell you why they're locking you up, because somebody decided that bought a lot of trees that they wanted to make paper products out of it, and they had the money, big business, to pay the right people to get it made illegal.
This is during the William Randolph Hearst time.
Amen. That's right. So, I've been trying to learn all the facts I can about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come a long way from where I was. But
You know they're making a hemp car now? They can make hemp plastic.
I seen that on the news. And
The hemp car is cool.
I about fell out of our bunk when I was walked in. I couldn't believe that. That's great. So why are we paying farmers now to leave their fields unplanted when we could be planting hemp in there, using it and developing a whole big industry instead of importing it from China?
Right.
There's something happening
Unless there's a major change in fortunes, we will lose it to the bank if we don't sell it and go.
So let's step up, everybody. Free the people, free the plant, clemency, reform, and restitution.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, thank you.
Good people don't smoke marijuana. And we're going to see more marijuana use, and it's not going to be good. This drug is dangerous. You cannot play with it. It's not funny. It's not something to laugh about.
There's something happening.
These high school boys and girls are having a hop at the local soda fountain. Innocently they dance. Innocent of a new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell.
If you want a good smoke, try one of these.
You will meet Bill, who once took pride in his strong will as he takes the first step toward enslavement.
Of course, if you're afraid.
Smoking the soul-destroying reefer, they find a moment's pleasure, but at a terrible price. Debauchery, violence, murder, suicide, and the ultimate end of the marijuana addict. Hopeless insanity. Important film now, before it is too late.
Your son is just entering the system. How does that feel? I don't understand why. Because he was state legal. I mean, he had top attorneys in the state to make sure he was state legal. And then for them to say in there that he wasn't, I don't know how that, is legal. I don't know how our government can treat us like that.
How can you take somebody out of circulation for almost 22 years in December for marijuana convictions?
There's something happening here.
I'm at a loss of words right now. I just hope the parole board does the right thing and sees the injustice in his sentence and releases him.
During that 10-year period, that's when I actually started speaking out against these failed policies of drug prohibition. And it was during that time when I first heard of Law Enforcement Against Prohibition and found their website and joined. And then I actually started publicly speaking. I officially became a LEAP speaker in 2008. And then on the board a year after that. And then I actually gave up policing, period, just to become the executive director of LEAP. And during the past 8 years, I tell you, I've worked harder in my life than ever before. And it's very, very rewarding. Mentally, it is not exhausting because of the rewards that come from this great work. Jeff, the same kind of work that you do when it's something that your heart is really into and that you're passionate about, and all the work that comes with it. Yes, trying to end prohibition policies, we still do that. Gaining a lot of ground with marijuana. We still have a long way to go with these other drugs. But we broaden our platform to include issues like the one of Alice Johnson, right? Of people who are incarcerated, who have been incarcerated, who shouldn't be incarcerated.
Young people speaking their minds.
That's if you want to grow roses, if you want to grow caladiums, nobody has a problem with that. So where did this concept originate that our government could stop us from freely associating with a plant that God put here for our benefit? And so I've fought to change these laws for more than 4 decades now.
They created a law that would effectively be legal for them to imprison thousands, if not millions of people for a plant that proven to be one of the most beneficial plants on the planet for fighting all numbers of diseases and disorders. Studies have proven that that plant grows anywhere for anybody. And it grows wild, and like you say, it grows in ditches, it grows everywhere that's needed. It's God's gift to the human race, and it's just a racist law that has been debunked. And here we are, 2017, and we're still struggling with the legalization. There's still people in jail for it.
My message is, just live life to the fullest. you know, whatever you're doing, just do it to the fullest. You know, whether it's learning or in between learning, whatever you're doing, just take advantage of the fact that you're alive, you know, and go for it. That's my message to everybody. Go for it.
Fantastic. And do you feel like telling us the circumstances about how you got arrested for pot?
Well, I got busted 03. It was the Bush administration were just invading Iraq, and they needed some diversion from the press, you know, and so they went after the hippies, and I happened to be the only targeted hippie standing, and so they came out and they gave me an offer that I couldn't refuse, you know, either go to jail or they would come after my son and my wife, and that's the federal government, so I decided to take the deal.
Did they actually threaten you?
Oh yeah.
Son of a gun.
Well, there's a prison culture in America, you know.
I was innocent. It wasn't my company. I was just advertising, which people do. I wasn't selling anything, you know, illegally. We had a business license. It was just the Bush administration going after the bomb industry. In their mind, they're going after those evil drug pushers, and as a result, you know, I was kind of hinted that I would get a house arrest, but I ended up getting 9 months in the federal prison and becoming a felon.
So as a victim of imprisonment for nonviolent associated with marijuana, what was your experience on the inside?
It was very good, very spiritual. I went in there with an open mind, open heart, and I wanted to make the best of it, you know. I felt like I was a journalist embedded with the troops, you know, because you can't beat the government. The government is too powerful, and if they want you, they get you.
And what's your take on 3 strikes?
Oh, it's horrendous. You know, the whole marijuana law, all the drug laws, they're all racist laws, including prohibition. Prohibition was a racist law too. You know, they're going after the Italians and Germans and the French for their wine and their beer, and they're going after the black and the Latinos for their love of marijuana. So all these laws that are still in the books are racist laws, much like the anti-gay movement, you know.
And you know about Uruguay, that Uruguay, the president of Uruguay, do you know about them?
No, tell me.
It's the only country in the world where they're using marijuana freely right now, and hemp.
Where's this at? Where's this at?
In Uruguay.
Oh, Uruguay. Oh, I love that. Oh, great. I love that. I'm going to go move there. I love that.
Uruguay is the best.
We're here on the planet to learn, and the only way we learn is by making mistakes. And that's the government, and that's human beings. And so all these mistakes that are made teaches us something. I was incarcerated for selling bongs.
Okay, and I got a last question for you here. What are your plans and dreams to end prohibition and assist the lifers to see the light and be freed?
Everything that happens on this planet happens for a reason. And prohibition happened for a reason. And I think one of the reasons was that it gave it gave us, because the government or the pharmaceuticals refused to test the plant or to explore its different uses. We were forced to do it on our own, on the black market side. It cures a lot more illnesses than any other substance on Earth, and so we're moving into the age of enlightenment. That's where we're at. That's where we're at.
That's fantastic. I'm really proud of you. Any last words?
No, it's just that my battery ran out. You got the last one just in time. Call me again anytime you need something.
This is Tommy Chong for Lifers Madness.
I heard also, and your name was again?
Iva Carruthers.
Hi, Iva. Pleasure. That the revolution will begin with compassion. You know?
Absolutely, because the end destination is not reform, but it is really transformation.
Yes.
And that transformation means that we create a new kind of world in which the racialized hierarchy, the ways in which capital is used to disempower people as opposed to providing people with the quality of life that we all deserve, has got to be the end destination. And so when we can begin to think differently about the distribution of compassion, of care, of notions of justice, of notions of healing, of notions of well-being, of notions of embracing the diversity of the world, and driven by the spirit which is common to us all,
Correct.
then I think we can reach a new kind of way that speaks to a new world order that embraces all of us and affirms our fundamental human rights and our fundamental human dignity.
Hey everybody, this is Jeff for Lifers the Movie. I'm at the White House, everybody, and I just am praying that we let all the prisoners out and that we have prohibition to end on marijuana and possibly all drugs. I think that it's a great time to follow the gay marriage paradigm and step it up into Congress. And Jeff is approving this message, everybody. It's not Mission Impossible. It's Jeff at the White House.
Optimistic about that, Jeff, but somewhere down the road, hopefully in our lifetime, we will see cannabis legalized in the whole United States and around the world, so that when we can go on vacation, we can enjoy cannabis in a free society.
In a state park, in a national park.
Yeah, right.
Lady Marijuana.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hey.
Hi.
Welcome to Lifers a Movie.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Young people speaking their minds.
I'm Kirsten. My friend Jeffrey came over today to talk with me about medicinal cannabis and my personal experience with it. I proceeded to go to my deathbed very quickly. Before staple removal, I had an explosion on the chest wall that grew very rapidly. It was an open necrotic tumor. At last measure, with home health nurses coming every day, it topped out around 39 by 39 centimeters. At that point, I was in no shape for cannabis cultivation, even trying to find it. I had no way to begin. I was so grateful. From there, it just kind of expanded. I started learning about the plant. I realized very quickly that the plant isn't only beneficial for cancer, it's beneficial for pretty much anything that ails a person, depending on how you deliver it into your body, either topically, through a raw tincture that you can make yourself very simply, through inhalation for the 9 lung nodules via vaporization, as well as golden milk with activated cannabis flower in it. I use it topically as well. So there are lots of different ways to get it in you. There are lots of different reasons, as many reasons as there are people who suffer. There's a lot of suffering, I believe, at the hands. It's compounded by the pharmaceutical industry. Chemotherapy really messed with my body. It was down to supplements, self-administered, and cannabis. So when I first used the cannabis, I was afraid. I was absolutely terrified. I felt I'd be in a situation where I'd ingested something and I would experience an inescapable terror for X number of hours. I had deep concern and genuine fear, actually. So I ingested cannabis for the first time just before our daughter went to school. We all piled onto the bed to watch a movie before we headed out driving across the country to school. I'd say 30 to 45 minutes after I'd consumed cannabis, an inexplicable peace and joy came over me. It was the first escape from cancer, from diagnosis, from PTSD, I'm sure, from all of the horrible care, all of the horrible things perpetrated in hospitals. I had joy, peace. It was a gift from God. And I didn't believe in it. I used to say sarcastically, if your back hurts because you roller skated and you hurt yourself, young person, just own it. You like cannabis, just smoke your cannabis, enjoy it, and don't use excuses. Own your stuff. And it was pride. And I had a big fall. And it's okay. The future, I would like to see the leaves, raw leaves, available bulk in the grocery store produce section. I believe they're that vital and important. You've got a body full of CBD receptors, most of them in your brain. God put them there for a reason, and he put this plant here for a reason, two puzzle pieces that fit together. Nature is the pharmacist. I thank you so much, Jeffrey. I thank Lifers, the movie, for what they're doing, for raising awareness in a tragic situation where we are essentially indentured to the pharmaceutical industry in the name of profit. I resent it and I reject it outright. For children, for the children who have improved, who benefit immensely because of a plant that their parents were brave enough to find, they risk so much doing that. There's such a stigma. There's danger. There's risk. You don't feel safe sometimes growing plants at your property. You wonder who's watching. When a plane flies over, you wonder if they're going to come and rip out your stuff. It's what I have. It's all I have at this point, besides the water I drink and the supplements I take and the prayers. I'm here because we prayed for a mighty miracle and then we watched it front and center.
My hope about reform is really just that if there is problems with substance for people, that they get the help that they need. And incarceration for profit, I don't believe is the answer.
I really love meeting you, and this has been eye-opening, a pleasure, and I'm going to be with your family this weekend, and this is the beginning, Jeff.
Well, there's a lot more to be said, and I'm hoping one day I'll be able to be out there to say it.
A Missouri man who thought he would be spending his life behind bars just walked out of the prison where he spent the last 21 years. Jeff Mazansky was given life without parole for a nonviolent offense involving marijuana, but his sentence was recently commuted. He walked away from the Jefferson City Correctional Center around 8 o'clock this morning, surrounded by family. His 2 decades of pain ended with Missouri's 3 strikes law was repealed in 2014, followed by a 390,000 signatures on a petition calling for his release. Then in May, Missouri Governor Jay Nixon commuted his sentence.
This is the beginning. It's such a pleasure to meet you, and we're with Jeff Mazansky, and we're so happy to have you.
Praise the Lord.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Y'all started something big a long time ago. You've seen it years and years ago. Other people didn't.
Make an example that, even though you threw away the key on me, I am a human being, and, I'm trying to do the best I can.
So this is Jeff, and I'm with Landon and his mom, and they're going to tell you a little bit about the Canamoms and cannabis. Do you like cannabis?
Yes.
And has it helped you?
Yes.
And what is your story? What happened before you had cannabis?
Cancer tamed, and it made me sick.
And so what has marijuana and cannabis done for you?
It helped me grow my hair back, and it helped me feel better.
You're the best, man. You're a hero. And so are you still using cannabis for, is it your favorite healing power?
It is.
And do you have it in juice?
Yeah.
Or do you eat it? Do you have food for him or juice?
Yeah, all of it. I eat organic food.
You eat organic food? Yeah, that's true.
And Mom, tell them about my story.
Sure. Hi, this is Sierra Riddle, and Landon and I are here in Seattle to help spread Team Landon's message and the Canamom message of, treating our terminally ill children with cannabis over narcotics and pharmaceuticals that, delay them and put them in a fog and, regress our children's development while they are fighting these terminal illnesses. And, we're happy to run into you guys again, and that was over a year ago at Denver 420, and as you can see, Landon's still doing really amazing. He's still cancer-free, and it's just been such an incredible journey for all of us, really, to be on. Sure, go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
What do you want to say?
I want to say Tanner sucks.
No, don't say that.
Cannabis sucks cancer. Right, Mom?
Yes.
Okay, say it.
Cannabis sucks cancer.
Yeah. Sure does stop cancer.
Well, watch the...
Okay, I got your mic. Oh, thank you. Okay. So, your name is Landon?
Yes.
So, Landon just reached the camera and focused on my face, and that's very nice. So, he's learning how to be a cameraman. Yeah, you're a little man now. You're doing great. So, let me go push it on your face here. Yeah, there we go. Got it. How'd that feel?
How about her melon?
Many thousands of years ago, cannabis was used both in China and in the Middle East in essentially those fields in which we use them today. I'm a natural products chemist. I work on the chemistry of compounds found in plants and animals. And I was a little bit surprised to find out that while morphine had been isolated in the 19th century and cocaine was known also a long time, the chemistry of cannabis was not that well known. People, very good people, had worked on it, but the active compound had apparently never been isolated in pure form, and although its structure was guessed more or less, it was not really known. Now that's not just a chemical problem, because there is no way there is pharmacology or clinical work can be done with compounds that are not well defined. Pharmacology, modern clinical work has to be done in exact terms. And I asked the police whether they can give me a little bit, and they said no problem. So I went there, I took 5 kilograms of hashish, and went on a bus. People were quite surprised by the strange smells that were around. And we started working. Then it turned out that we had broken the laws, and the police had broken the laws, so we were not allowed to do that, and we should have got permits from the Israeli NIH.
Thank you, Mr. President, for clemency.
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 They didn't teach us in public school. They didn't teach us in high school. They didn't teach us in college that the #1 plant on earth had marijuana for paper, for fiber, for fuel, for food, for protein, and for medicine. #1, greater than all the rest. The King Kong plant of the planet that was outlawed, stolen out of our education, so we and our parents would grow up ignorant of what everybody knew in the world 100 years ago. And they outlawed it, and I grew up, and most of us grew up. I was in my mid-30s before I found out that marijuana was hemp. I want to hear how many of you knew this information 10 years ago? How many of you know this information now? It's time to get together and tumble down their walls and let people out of jail. We have 200,000 Americans in prison for something I did this afternoon.
Spending this time in prison means getting that done. Then it'll all be worth it.
Jeff Eichen here with Lifers the Movie. I'm sticking to my story. Thank you all for joining in here and watching this incredible story of people, yes, still in prison for life, for a plant, and for nonviolent crimes. It's time to level the playing field and to tell your authorities and globally to end prohibition. We can do this, folks. We have to. It will manifest in so many different ways across the board. Hemp hemp hooray. I mean what I say. Reform, clemency, and restitution. It's a good time to speak up and through film, share this with the world and end global prohibition.
This is Tommy Chong for Lifers Madness.
I'm Amy Povall.
And I'm Jeff Mazansky.
And we're for LifersTheMovie.com. Free the plant, free the prisoners.
Free the plant, free the prisoners.
Free the planet, free the prisoners.
Free the plant, free the prisoners.
There's something happening here. There's something happening here.
So share this movie and share your thoughts and keep the conversation going. Jeff Eichen for LifersTheMovie.com. Blessings. To end this war on people.
But the one feeling I will never forget is that I had to return back to my cell and look at my friends who were still serving life without parole and had to tell them that I was going home. It was one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. And though they were grateful and happy for me and told me don't worry about it, that one day they would get their chance. In the back of my mind, I knew that the percentages were that they were going to die right there in that cell that I was standing in with them.